Shabbat shalom, brothers, sisters, saints, daughters of Zion, Israel. Man, if you didn't tune in to Shep's teaching today, it's still rolling, about to wind it up, but it was just 2 hours of just solid teaching from the word, having you on the edge of your seat. Today, we're talking about submitting to leadership. This is your warning. If you are somebody that fakes the funk and you love for somebody to lay it on thick with lies, this ain't for you, because today I'm going to be landing on thick with truth. And the word says, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? That means you rather somebody pat this flesh on the back and sell you lies and leading you to Sheol. Not today. Submitting to leadership. I'm going to try to get through this because I got a lot to cover, a lot of different angles that oftentimes we're not groomed, we're not conditioned, we're not reared in, we're not raised in. And that causes us to fake the funk like we are submitting to leadership as men and women. Man, I hope everybody, has strived to enter into that rest because it's ultimately an act of obedience and act of submission. Today is Veterans Day, but let me tell you something. I don't care nothing about them deals they got today because being a veteran won't get me to the kingdom. But obeying the word of Yah, being a doer of the word will. So I'm entering into that rest today. Man, I hope you guys had a, good 6 days worth of work. And because of that belief, you entered into his Sabbath rest. Okay. In today's Shabbat message, I'm teaching you the importance of submitting and obeying leadership. I want you to realize some people don't have protection and covering because they don't want to submit. They don't want to obey. And ultimately, what they do is they get into places where they should submit, but ultimately they try to manipulate the situation so they're in control because of that flesh not wanting to submit and obey. Everyone that is of the Most High Yah has to submit to the biblical chain of command, and the will commanded by Abba Yah is the same will we should obey in our everyday life. Let me move this over right here. We're gonna get that grease hot. I got some scriptures in here that's like 9mm round loaded up, ready to come out, hollow tip. They heat seeking. All right. We have far too many men that say they have a relationship with the Most High Yah and that they know him, but in their lifestyle refuse to submit themselves righteously. We're talking about when you start talking about rule over, submit, obey. That's the quickest way to make a demon manifest in a worldly woman. That's the quickest way. Or that's the quickest way to make a demon manifest in a rebellious man. Submit? What? I ain't got to submit. What? Let's keep going. We have a large percentage of women that hate the word submission, obey, and rule over because it destroys the narrative that a man and his woman are equal partners in marriage. Wait a minute. Why we got so much rebellion going on in marriage amongst the men and the women? Men, are you giving the woman something to submit to? Can she submit to the Messiah in you like Sarah did Abraham by calling him master? Getting that grease hot today. Jokers don't want to submit, but be in a marriage, you ain't submitted to Messiah as a man, but yet you want her to submit to you. Wait a minute, where they do that at? The Most High Yah is about order and establishes order all throughout the Bible so we can walk with humility and discipline. See what I'm saying? Discipline and humility. Humbly submitting ourselves. Because if not, this flesh is going to cause us to be prideful. Man, ain't nobody telling me what to do. I used to kick jokers out the recruiting office all the time because I could tell they had a rebellious spirit. You're going to get in this thing. We're going to give you a uniform and you're going to try to change the army. Where you don't have to submit. I used to tell them, get out the army. Oftentimes, a lot of people stray away from anything of discipline because they don't want to submit. They don't want to obey. They look for jobs where they can just go off and do their own thing, but they don't have to deal with the rebuke, the correction, the chastisement, the instruction, the commands of somebody over them. And today we're going to talk about submitting to bad leadership, because people tomorrow on Christendom, on Sunday Sun worship, are submitting to bad leadership, Gentile heathen leadership. And we're gonna peel all that back today. Like I said, the Most High Yah is about order and establishes order all throughout the Bible so we can walk in humility and discipline. Why are we here today on this Sabbath day? That's an act of submission, an act of obedience. We are here to enter into a Sabbath rest because of our obedience and submission to the Most High Yah and his will. Why did Hamashiach honor the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath? Because it was the will of the Father. Messiah himself, who people say that they follow in Christendom, don't follow him at all because they want to do away with the old way of the Father. I'm going to break this thing down today. Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy Yah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. I'm not wrestling with nobody that want me to work 7 days a week and violate this Sabbath, because you can't get me to the kingdom. You yourself is not submitted to leadership. Let me tell you something. You got people out there that say that they love the Most High Yah, and you can tell that their heart is far from him. They honor him with his lips, with their lips. We don't have to do that. Get the heck away from me. My doggone soul salvation is on the line. This thing is about submitting righteously to leadership, not submitting yourself to a plum fool. We cooking today. Ezekiel chapter 22, verse 26. Her priests have violated my law. Her priests have violated my law and profaned my holy things, that have put no difference between the holy and the profane. Wait a minute. This is what the Christians want to do. Oh, it's clean. It used to be unclean, but it's clean now. Well, they had to keep the Sabbath, but now we don't have to. Get your trifling butt away from me, you lawless jokers, where the spirit is not upon you. They have a image of godliness, but deny the power of. Neither have they shown difference between the unclean and the clean, and have hid their eyes from my Sabbath. You don't even want nothing to do with the Sabbath, but you say you love Messiah, a man that knew no sin, because he kept the law. That's the reason he the perfect example, and he kept the Sabbath. Come on, you can't make this up. And I am profaned among them. Exodus chapter 31, verse 14 through 18. We're going to cook today. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths, therefore, for it is holy unto you. Everyone that defileth shall surely be put to death. See, this is where mercy comes in. This is where mercy comes in. The Most High Yah is giving you an opportunity to submit to righteous leadership, giving you an opportunity to get right, You got folks out here trying to help you on this journey, but what you want to do? Oh, I just got to have a little bit of work. Man, this job, You willing to die for that job? Better submit yourself to good leadership. Good leadership is righteous leadership. Everyone that defileth shall surely be put to death. We can verify that. A man was put to death by the Most High Yah for picking up sticks on the Sabbath. But you think you've escaped it because he showed mercy on you. What you think you got to face judgment for? We got to deal with that. For so whoever do work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Cut off. Exodus chapter 31, verse 14 through 18. Okay. Verse 15, 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever do any work in the Sabbath day shall surely be put to death. We can verify that. Wherefore the children of Israel, listen to it, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations for a perpetual covenant, never ending. It don't mean when these jokers start making up Christian denominations, false religion, Christendom, that you change away just because they gave you replacement theology and you have submitted yourself to that leadership. That's why folks wrestle with understanding this, because they've been programmed and submitted to unrighteous leadership. That's why this stuff sounds foreign. Verse 17, it is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed. This is your refreshment right here. Dealing with these folk in the world, having to go to and from. Hey, you have to block off, you have to fight to enter into this rest because people don't want you doing it. Why you got to do this? Well, no, it ain't that. Hey, do what you want to do. Your salvation on the line. Do what you want to do. Submit to that worldly leadership if you want to, and make yourself an enemy of Yah. You a friend to this world, you are an enemy of Yah. That's what the word says. Verse 18, and gave it unto Moses when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone written with the fingers of Yah. People talking about, well, we don't need to do what Moses said. It was written with the finger of Yah. Telling you, can't submit to these people. They will sound intellectual. They'll hit you with these education, these degrees. Well, you know, I have a PhD in theology, and the spirit ain't even on them, leading you astray. We are in a very troubled daytime and hour where the heathen and the Gentiles are trying to get you to submit to their leadership while attempting to make void the truth of Yah. This is what's happening. These Catholics that got Christians thinking they doing something separate, and they all keeping the same doggone first day of the week. Go back and look up the definition of Sunday. It tell you right then and there it's the first day. But that wicked flesh don't want to submit to righteous leadership. You rather be at the mall buying it all. In there looking for a Birkin bag. In there trying to find you some sporting goods stuff. Gonna break this down today. Are trying to get you to submit to their leadership while attempting to make void the truth of Yah. They want you to submit yourself to their heathen ways, and the Most High Yah does not want us to submit to their leadership or tradition. But what do we see today? People that claim to love the Most High Yah submitted to heathen and Gentile ways. Zechariah chapter 8, verse 23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take a hold of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is Yahudim, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that Yah is with you. We grabbing your shirt tail because you the real Yahudim. We know you got his spirit. We see you moving in truth. We'll follow you. We'll submit ourselves to you. Listen to what I'm saying. How many folk that's been brought up in this false pagan, heathen, Gentile religion that when you ask these pastors, who are we? They're going to tell everybody, we the Gentiles. They're going to tell you that because they're lawless. Gentiles have a history of being lawless. That's why the Most High Yah says, I'm going to deal with that. The Most High Yah in Exodus chapter 12, verse 49, tells us, if they want to be his people, they're going to have to follow the same rules, the same ordinances, the same commandments, the same precepts. One law shall be to him that is homeborn to Israel, and unto the stranger that sojourn among you. Stranger, other nation, heathen, Gentile. You need to be mindful to the craftiness of the Gentiles and heathens and their religion to sway you to keep their traditions while rejecting the commandments of Yah. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2 through 4. Thus saith the Lord. Listen, we have to wait a minute. Everybody coming up about to celebrate a heathen Gentile holiday and been brainwashed. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathens are dismayed at them. Listen to this. For the customs of the people are vain. For they cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They deck it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers that it move not. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Heathen. Telling you, who have you submitted yourself? Well, my family been doing it for generations. Family been living like heathens. I told you, people want lies and deceit to be laid on thick while they run from the truth. That's why I said, if you are faking the funk of submitting to your leadership, today, you probably not going to like this. But I'm going to give you that opportunity to crucify that flesh. To crucify that flesh and to bring that flesh into obedience. You only can do that if you got the Ruach. Matthew chapter 10, verse 5 through 6. The 12, Yeshua HaMashiach sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not in the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans enter you not. Why he told them that? The Gentiles was lawless. Just like these Gentiles try to take over the Roman Catholic Church, they didn't doggone strayed everybody away with their replacement theology and told everybody we're the Gentiles. They're lawless. This is why they tell you the law is done away with, but yet they expect you to pay tithes and offerings when that's found in the law, the Torah. That's how they deceive you. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. It don't say go to the lost house of Muslims, the lost house of Christians, the lost house of Baptists, the lost house of Apostolic, the lost house of the first church. It don't say none of that. But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's facts, bars. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revilings, banqueting, and abominable idolatry. The history of the Gentiles has doggone been lawless. That's why they got folks walking around. We don't have to obey the law. But the word says, by faith, do we disregard this law? No, we uphold the law. There's righteous leadership and then there's wicked leadership. These wicked leaders going to come in the form of a false prophet. A man come along, talk you out of your drawers, don't want to fulfill a duty to you, false prophet. Sold you some snake oil, you bit the fruit, he defiled you and defiled himself in the process. Just like that. Do not submit to the leadership of the Gentiles and the heathens, entrusting them to be able to comprehend a book written on behalf of the children of Israel. The Gentiles, the heathens, were used as bait. They were used as bait and offered salvation to make Israel jealous. Go back and look up that passage. Type in salvation to the Gentiles to make Israel jealous. And you can read this for yourself. So they would return to the covenant. Submitting to unrighteous Gentile leadership is the worst mistake you can make because they have been void of the Ruach of the Most High Yah that will make your path straight. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 3. Already read that one. Let's keep going. The Gentiles want people to submit to the teachings that the new covenant is to them, and that's the furthest thing away from the truth. They refuse to walk in his statutes and his ways and want you to believe everything that's Gentile is right. Nah, we the Gentiles. You supposed to be keeping Christmas. Thanksgiving, Halloween, these are Christian observances. Them is heathen observances. They don't walk in his statutes. And here we are as Israel saying, no, this book says keep feast days. This book says keep Sabbath days, not Sunday, first days. This book say keep seventh day and enter into that rest. They refuse to walk in his statutes and his ways and want you to believe that everything is Gentile right. This is why, listen to me, hold up, punchline. This is why you have so many daughters of Zion lusting after straight European hair instead of the hair that the Most High Yah put on their head, brainwashed by the Gentiles. Not knowing that the hair that the Most High Yah put on your head as a daughter of Zion is good. Expects you to cover it, not be prideful in it like the haughty daughters of Zion were. Jeremiah 31, verse 31 through 33. And you have to go back and fact check these religious folks because they submitted to unrighteous leadership that they don't even realize is rooted in idolatry. Go back and fact check them and make sure you read this stuff first before you ask the question. Ask them, who is the new covenant? Who is the new covenant for? And watch how they insert themselves in where they don't fit. The lifestyle don't fit. They doggone faith without works don't fit. It's dead faith. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband unto them, saith the Lord. But this shall be a covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my law. He's going to get intimate with you. I will put my laws in their inward parts and write it on their hearts, and I will be their Yah, and they shall be my people. He don't claim all these people. There should be one law and one statute to him that's homeborn and him that sojourns with you, the stranger. Some people will try to bet their best to wrestle and fight against obedience and submission using $20 words with fancy carnal wisdom, but the Most High Yah is very concrete and clear, unlike our carnal minds that must be renewed. Man, if you came out of your mama's womb, popped out between your mama's leg with this divine wisdom that only the Spirit can give you, what would you be repenting for? Why would you need to walk in the Spirit, walk in the Ruach? To be frank, the Most High Yah doesn't ask you how you feel about some or what you think, not once. What you think about this commandment? No, he tells you to obey, submit yourself. He exercises his divine command authority, and that's what people don't like. That's what people don't like. They will try to make anything righteous seem narcissistic, gaslight you, manipulate out of because they don't want to deal with that rebellion in them. I think you kind of controlling, narcissistic. Why are you trying to control me? We'll deal with that. We're going to deal with that because that's a common argument. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8 through 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. His mind ain't like your wicked ass mind. Neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. He ain't bipolar. He ain't schizophrenic. He ain't manic depressed. He ain't got anxiety. He ain't had none of that. And you got people that are walking in the flesh that will try to get you to think that the Most High Yah gonna come down and submit himself to the way we think. Nope, that's why he got a word for this. They ain't gonna give you this on Sunday. You ain't gonna get this. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways. Don't fool yourself. Let's keep going. Get in here. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. That's why we submit ourselves. His ways, the will of the Father, is higher than our will. But what's whooping your ass? You want to do your will every damn day. That's what's whooping you on a daily basis. I don't know why I'm depressed. I don't know why I'm anxiety. I'm just keep on struggling because you're doing as thou wilt instead of the will of the Father. You reading these scriptures about protection and putting on the whole armor, but you're doing what you want to do. thought you had some covering, thought you had some protection, and you wondering why foolishness is always finding you, because you haven't submitted yourself to righteous leadership. Colossians chapter 3, verse 22 through 24. Servants, obey in all things your masters according to the flesh, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in singleness of heart, fearing Yah. And whatsoever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men. We're going to talk about these jokers that worship money, will submit for money today. There's a lot of that going around. Knowing that of the Lord you shall receive the reward of inheritance, for you serve the Lord Hamashiach. Romans chapter 6, verse 16. Do you not know that if you present yourselves to anyone as obedient slaves, you are slaves of the one whom you obey, either in sin, which leads to death, or of obedience, which leads to righteousness? Who you gonna submit to? You either submitted to Hasatan, faking like you submitted to Yah. Oh, we love you, Yah. But in your daily life, you doing everything that Hasatan wants you doing, going against the will of Yah. And it says either you submitted to doggone wickedness and sin, or you submitted to doggone righteousness. You a slave to either one. Which one are you? Which one are you? Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Who directing your path? Who's steering your wheel? A lot of times, man, you in this world is going to give you a lot of false wisdom. And you're going to be moving in it. Well, I got an education. Well, this is my certification. How you going to tell me that I ain't supposed to be doing this and you don't even know this? You's a lowly person. And that's why you're going to lose your life, because you don't want to submit to leadership. How many jokers we got out here struggling but don't want to be covered? Want to be rebellious, contentious, think they deserve the best that the Most High Yah has and says is precious. The Most High Yah has placed many under a strong delusion. I'm going to keep covering this because the delusion, the state of delusion, is real, because they don't have the love for the truth, but rather live a lie. Many women are doing the work of Hasatan, just as Eve did in the garden, because they don't want to submit in the home, but will submit in the workplace for money. Wait a minute, bars. Many young men are under this same delusion, thinking they can rebel against the Most High Yah and go somewhere else and find a righteous woman, when you yourself are not submitted to the Most High Yah, nor do you obey his voice. Who you fooling? You ain't fooling nobody. If you faking the funk today, this ain't for you. This ain't for you. You can tell everybody else that you submitted and you love them and you obey your husband, but we know what goes on behind closed doors. We know what goes on. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 10 through 12. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, you're going to die, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. You ain't going to be saved without the truth, a love of the truth. And for this cause, Yah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. I told you, people want you to patty cake them on the back, high five them for living a lie. Don't nobody want to be rebuked righteously. Don't nobody want to be trained and submit themselves unto righteous leadership. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your mind is wicked. It's sick as hell. That ye may prove what is good and acceptable and the perfect will of Yah. Not your will. Yah ain't asking you, well, what do you think is your will? How you think you should be a wife? How do you think you should be a husband? How do you think you should be a mother? Well, you say you a good mother. You say you a good wife. You say you a good father, a good husband. But who validated that? What do you think? Do you think I should take what's in your mind is good and go with that and just let you in the kingdom? Hell no. You will realize some people will never be a part of anything righteous due to their lack of submission and obedience. You live for self, and you will be judged based upon your selfish and self-centered ways. Genesis chapter 14, verse 13 through 16. This is where people start signing off. This is where they start signing off. This is when the tone police. I don't like the delivery and the message. I don't like the way he's talking to me. This is where the tone police get doggone ate up right here. And there came one that had escaped and told Abraham the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Esau and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abraham. And when Abraham heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his house, 318, and persuaded them unto Dan. Let's look up the etymology of the word his trained. That's Hebrew word 2593, means practice, means you tried, experience, to be instructed, to train. Verse 15, and he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them and persuaded them unto Haboah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. They brought back the booty. His trained servants went over there and took it to their butt. Took it to him and brought back the spoils of war. Trained servants. That's why you got a lot of people claiming to be submitted to the Most High, Yah, following Messiah. How you following Messiah as a woman, but you ain't submitted to your husband? Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute. How you following Messiah as a man, but your doggone life is just lawless and you making excuses? So you got servant, and then you got the training that goes along to be a trained servant. Folk don't want to get trained. I want to be a servant, but I want to be a servant the way I want to serve. That's not the way this works. You got to get the training. Where the training come from? Training come from the word. Faith cometh by hearing the word. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 17. Obey them. Woo! Demons is manifested in here. Obey them that have rule over you, and submit yourselves to some worldly folk, men and women. You would have thought I just said a legitimate, put a curse on somebody because I read this. Obey them that have rule over you. And we're going to get down to the bottom of rule over. Obey them that have rule over you and submit yourselves. Why? Why should you do that? Why? It's for your benefit. For they watch for your souls, as they must give an account. They got to give an account as a leader, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. It's a lot of men that's having to lead some wicked ass women, and they don't get to do it with joy. They're doing it with grief. You know why? Because the daughter of Zion don't want to submit, haughty and high-minded. It'll be unprofitable for you. The word obey is Greek word 3982, to listen to comply with, to be persuaded, to suffer oneself to be persuaded, to have faith in. The Strongs, to convince by argument of truth, by analogy, to assent to the evidence and authority, to rely, yield to, have the rule, Greek word 2233, to esteem, to govern, to lead, to have authority, chief, command. I don't want nobody having authority over me. Man, I ain't with that, man. Them jokers want to tell me what to do, and that's why you ain't got nowhere. Because you don't want to submit. You can't go to the kingdom and you don't want to submit to leadership. It just ain't gonna work. Skip over your husband if you want to. You ain't finna get into the kingdom, because you're gonna have to deal with that. You chose to enter into a covenant with somebody. This man took you, and you don't want to submit, and I'm supposed to let you up in here around the righteous daughters of Zion so you can bring that same foolishness to the kingdom? Hell no. Part ways, for I never knew you. You lawless as hell. Men out here, you masquerade like you following Messiah, but you don't want to do the things that the Messiah did. Don't want to live the life that the Messiah did. That's the reason he was a man of no sin, given to us as a perfect example because he kept the law, and you want to live lying. Part ways I never knew you. Exodus have the rule to esteem, to govern, to lead, to have authority, chief, commander. Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then shall you be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Dang, don't nobody want to be peculiar. Peculiar how? Actually following Hamashiach as he follows the will of our Father with lifestyle. Being a peculiar woman that obeys and submits to your husband because he has rule over you. Wait a minute. You think I'm making this up? I'm going to get to that. Matthew chapter 16, verse 25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. Man, no matter what you do, man, you know, I'm trying to get my business going, man. I'm trying to just make more money and try to do all that. You trying to find your life, you're going to lose your damn life because your life ain't worth jack shit already. It ain't worth nothing. But until you start seeking the Most High Yah in his righteousness for his sake, you ain't going to find your life. You're going to find a short life in this flesh, and the Most High Yah is going to continue showing mercy upon you until he don't want to show mercy on you no more. And then you face judgment, dealing with the lawlessness that you chose to live in. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. That flesh is going to have to die. Deuteronomy chapter 13, verse 4. You shall walk after the Lord your Yah and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him. Woo! Cleave unto him. That don't mean argue with him. Talk about how you interpreted it different. This right here is what people wrestle with the most. Obey and submit, men and women. You got men out here that's got PhDs in Christendom, lawless as hell. They can point out what they should be doing. Meanwhile, why they don't want to do it. Talking about you want somebody to follow your teaching. Plum fool. Women out here wrestling with obey and submit. And I broke that thing down to the lowest common denominator. But yet in your mind, leaning on your own understanding, you think you know what submission is? What? Well, the way I understood it, the way I interpreted it, shut up, sit down somewhere and obey them that have rule over you, for you lose your life. It's that real. Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18 through 19. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey. Wait a minute, there's a lot of obey. For those that's rebellious, oh, you hate this. Oh, no, I don't think I should have to obey. Oh, no. Which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall the father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of the city and unto the gates of his place. Guess what they ain't doing? They ain't bringing this wicked joker to the edge of the city to say, surprise, happy birthday. No, they got stones and they gonna stone that ass because you rebellious and don't want to obey. And you got people out here wicked enough to justify not discipline and doggone sparing the rod against their son. And you're going to have some wicked sons and daughters because you spare them the rod. Well, the rod doesn't mean whooping. It doesn't mean, chastening their loins. We put them in time. Hell no. Hell no. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yah. People wrestle with this all day long, and you can tell it ain't no spirit of truth on them. Ain't no spirit of, well, no, the way I interpret it was, the man is head of household. Not what this says. It says the man is head of the woman, head of you. Well, no, he's head of the household, but we're equal partners in this thing. This is a business relation. This is all the nonsense they say. And the head of Hamashiach is Yah. Job chapter 36, verse 12. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword. The same disobedience you doggone are living in now, you have to deal with that. And they shall die without knowledge. You ain't gonna never have understanding because you chose not to submit. Faith cometh by hearing the word. You got to make sure whoever is giving you the word has an anointing, or they just simply sitting up. They might as well open up a magazine and try to read it to you because they ain't gonna be able to interpret it because they're lawless. They're reading into it to be lawless. They're looking for ways to justify their lawlessness. Psalms chapter 18, verse 44. As soon as they hear me, they shall obey me. The strangers, this is the Gentile, shall submit themselves unto me. 2 Samuel, verse 22 through 45. Strangers shall submit themselves unto me. As soon as they hear, they shall be obedient unto me. He's not asking you what you thought. He's not asking, well, heathens, well, Gentiles, what kind of traditions you got? Matter of fact, that Christmas tradition you got, I think I want to replace what's in the book, and I want to put that in there that Christmas is the birth of Jesus. I think we want to replace, because that's quite good. Y'all singing and drinking eggnog and leaving milk out for some joker that don't even come down the chimney. Falsehoods. He's not asking you. We have a lot of sick men and women that think that they love Yah and that they are submitted to their men. I call bullshit. And this is the standing 10 toes down for righteousness that people don't like, because I give you this word to where you can't escape it. These scriptures will put you in a guillotine chokehold, and that flesh will get choked out for air. You just be, you can't run from it. Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? You got men out here that don't want to do what the Most High Yah has commanded them to do according to their wives, but yet you say you love her. Yet you say you love her. Women out here, you swear up and down, I'm so in love with you, but you don't want to obey them, don't want to submit to them. Some kind of love you got, for this is the love of Yah, that we obey and guard his commandments. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 5. Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. Leaning on your own understanding is going to lead you to some sick ways. You ain't going to never be able to figure this out. People wrestle with these words, wrestle with the scripture, not having the spirit of truth, and they be like, I just can't quite wrap my head around. They don't have the spirit of truth. Don't have the spirit of truth, nor do they, chances are, they don't want to submit to leadership to learn. A lot of women have sold themselves out cheap for the sake of money, and it's the reason why they won't submit at home. They have no problem submitting in the workplace, but rebel against leadership at home. Oh, y'all thought I was making this up? Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yah and money, Yah and mammon. So you submitting to one for the money, for the greenback, and come home and being rebellious, combative, contentious. Matthew chapter 6, verse 20. Let me go Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 through 28. Husbands, love your wives as even also Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. That etymology of the word church is assembly, is ecclesia. Greek word ecclesia, congregation, the assembly of Israelites, and gave himself up for it. Wait a minute. Men out here, how you say you love the Most High, Yah, but yet you don't love her like Hamashiach loved the church? Gave himself up for his people, the assembly, the congregation. You love you. You don't think about what this is finna say in verse 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. Wait a minute. How you going to truly love your woman if you don't wash her with the word? She ain't going to like getting washed with the word, because in her mind, leaning upon her own understanding, she don't realize that she's dirty. Submit to your leadership. Submit to your leadership. It says that he might sanctify it and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word. How you gonna do that, man, if you not in the word? You put on a nice suit, some smell good, your Stacey Adams, your Gators, and you go up in there and slip and slide and jump around just like you do in the club. But you ain't in that word. You can't get washed, neither can you wash somebody else. Matter of fact, you trying to wash somebody with a dirty rag of carnal wisdom, putting more dirt on them. Yeah, baby, go in there and go in there. You know, we going to church, baby. Go put that makeup on your face. Cover yourself up so y'all can't see you. Hide yourself from y'all. We don't want them to know what we was really doing. Yeah, baby, go in there and put that wig on your head. How you gonna wash somebody and you ain't been washed yourself? Verse 27, that he might present it to himself a glorious church, having not spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish. Your woman coming to you, y'all getting ready to go to Sunday sun worship. She got on a skirt, butt cheeks almost hanging out. She asked you what you think about it. Yeah, baby, you look good. You look sexy. No wonder why your house is defiled. Because you ain't got a spirit of truth upon you. Verse 28. So ought men to love their wives as their own body. Wait a minute, but if you don't love your body as a man, you can't love her body. If you defiling you, you're going to defile her. If you whoring yourself out with idolatry, guess what? You're going to be the main one. Come on, help me grab the other end of this tree and drag it up in the house so we can sing these heathen songs. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. A lot of these sisters ain't never been loved righteously. Ain't never been loved. Never. And here's the kicker. A lot of these daughters of Zion have no idea what a good man is. The Most High Yah at Judgment Day is going to show you what a good man looks like. Trust and believe that. He also going to show you what a good woman is at Judgment Day. You have all these jokers in stilettos. You got this hair from Egypt been sacrificed to idol. You at Judgment, your family didn't dress you up real good in your casket. And you think just because they say you good, he going to let you in? You're going to find out the hard way. You're going to find out the hard way. Just because you put on that suit and the preacher come in there and say all this stuff about you resting in peace and you doggone making it into the kingdom and he knew you live lawless, and you're going to find out the hard way. Better submit yourself to righteous leadership. Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. For those that don't, for the sisters that don't think the man is supposed to have rule over you, but the bulk of this is, why does the man have rule over you? What if you wouldn't have been rebellious? If you is doing what you're supposed to do, why does the man have to come behind you and correct you? Let's get into this. Genesis 3:16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In thy sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. This was a judgment issue. And thy desire shall be to thy husband. Wait a minute, what's your desire to? I'm submissive. You asking your husband, am I submissive? You know good and well whether you submissive or not. It says, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. Well, my goals and what I wanted to do, desire shall be to thy husband. Well, I didn't think that this was gonna mean you leading me and controlling me. Thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Wrestle with that. But I know what'll happen. You'll try to find a NLT, a NIV translation that kind of say what you want to appease that wicked ass flesh. Shall rule. Hebrew word 49:10, to reign, dominion, govern, to exercise dominion, to have power over. Ain't nobody having power over me. Start seeing the demons manifest. Oh yeah, if you faking the funk, you ain't gonna like this. You ain't gonna like this. If you got a doggone gynocratic feminist mindset, you ain't gonna like this. But I'm gonna tear your ass up with this word. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. Tear you up. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. See, oftentimes you don't realize that this rebellious spirit was taught to us by our parents and taught to them by their parents. They mama said, hey, instead of marrying young, bearing children, God in the house, like the word says. Girl, go out there and get you a job, girl. Go to college, be successful. No, don't submit yourself to no low level to, be taking care of a man. That's the kind of stuff. You saw your doggone father and his grandfather profane the Sabbath, eat all this unclean stuff, sacrifice food to idols, keep heathen holiday. Man, this has a lot to do with generations being cursed. We talking about generational bondage. This is what we getting into. This stuff goes deep. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as to the Lord. Submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. This is why it breaks it down, because Abraham had many sons, he had many wives, but he was the doggone husband of many wives. Just like in the word, it says, in that day, 7 women took hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread, we'll make our own clothes, just take away our reproach. We don't want to be blamed. They submitted to leadership, therefore they were covered. Submit yourself. Greek word 5293, to put under, to be subject unto, be subject to be in subjection unto, put in subject under, to be subordinate, to obey, to yield to one's admonition or advice, subdue unto. This the part I'm telling you, they ain't gonna give you this on Sunday sun worship. You know why? The women ain't finna get that money out their pocketbook. That's why they don't do it. It's a bad to delivering truth is bad for business, but it's good for soul salvation. Good for soul salvation. Colossians chapter 3, verse 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as it fits the Lord. Multiple places. Obey, submit. 1 Peter chapter 5, 5. Likewise, ye younger women, submit yourselves unto the elder. You of all, you be subject to one another and be clothed with humility. You can't tell me what to wear. My body, my choice. That's a rebellious spirit. For Yah resisteth the proud and give grace to the humble. I told you, this is so you can move through life with humility and discipline. Righteousness is the only thing that gives that. Titus chapter 2, verse 3 through 5. The aged women. This is what the older women should have been doing. What did these older women tell you to do? No, I don't do that. You see, I'm at home cooking and slaving, taking care of these kids. You need to go out and get you a degree. That's why the educated women got a 90% divorce rate. They college educated, 90%. 70% of divorces filed by women, 90% if they educated. That's why they got a high rate. The aged women, likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness. Not false accusers, not giving too much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the younger women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chase keepers, at home, good, obedient to their own husband. That the word of Yah be not blasphemed. Man, if you try to establish this right here as a man, you're going to hear every excuse in the book. Every excuse in the book. Well, I just want to do this, and what's my will? And then, I don't know about that. I don't believe in that yet. Hey, submit to leadership. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 14. I will therefore that the younger women marry, bear children, guard the house, give none occasion to the adversary to speak reproachfully. The Most High Yah is telling you at an early age to submit yourself to leadership, righteous leadership. Why? So you won't be out here struggling, talking about you can't find a good man and you didn't miss the mark. Now you 40 years old, trying to get married, can't bear no children, damn sure don't want to guide the house, all because you didn't want to submit to leadership. You claim mama taught you a whole bunch. Mama didn't teach you shit because mama didn't know shit. Mama was faking the funk, sitting up in church, clapping and in there, doing all the little Richard stuff. Mama wasn't learning nothing because the man that was teaching her was submitted to a doggone heathen, submitted to a Gentile, allowing all kind of abominations. And you know what? Your mama might even paid for it, empty out that pocketbook for it. Weep tears over Tammuz, like the word said. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 6. Oh man, boy, wait a minute. 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 6. Let's see how Sarah honored Abraham. This is a man with many wives. The modern unborn again woman would doggone try to crucify Abraham today. Oh, that man is misogynistic. He's the worst thing under the sun, having multiple wives. What do you want to do? It wasn't about sex. It was about covering these women so they wouldn't be left out there stranded. Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord. Gut check. Whose daughters you are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. That was an act of submission. Abraham, come home. What you want to eat today, Lord? Master. Not, dang, I got to cook for you again. You're always making me cook. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 through 2. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name. We didn't want to be called by your name. We tired of being bad bitches. We tired of being divas. That didn't get us nowhere. We are struggling. Look, to take away our reproach. They don't want to be blamed. In that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Many women will be cut off from good men because they refuse to submit to leadership. Man, if you are a haughty, high-minded daughter of Zion that does not want to refuse to leadership, but yet you know deep down in your heart, you like, man, I can't find no good men. You got a rebellious spirit and you're attracting rebelliousness. When you start putting off righteousness, that's when you're going to doggone a man going to come along and find you. Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 26. This is if you don't want to submit to leadership, the Most High Yah gives a man instructions on, divorcing his woman, what not to deal with, what not to tolerate. If she go not as thou wouldst have her, cut her off from your flesh. Don't give her no more meat. Don't give her no more meat, and give her a bill of divorce and let her go. And let her go. Everywhere in the word that we see, it's the man issuing the woman a bill of divorce. Because you typically have the problem where the woman craftily does not want to submit to leadership. And when you hear all these women today that's divorced, go back and look up the HL Talk That Thought. Type that in YouTube. HL Talk That Thought. This is Ecclesiastes 25, verse 26. They will spin the narrative to make it seem like they was in a bad position. They was being controlled, ruled over. The man was misogynistic. And then it'll come out that they regret leaving this man. Why? Because he had rule over them, was trying to straighten them out, was trying to wash them with the word, didn't want to be washed. It is unlawful. I challenge any sisters out there watching this. I challenge you to do your own research and find out where it's lawful for a woman to divorce her husband. Find the scripture that says if he go not as thou would have him, cut him off from the flesh and give him a bill of it doesn't go like that in the word. I challenge you to find that in the law. Find that in the Torah. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 through 15. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. Hey, the thing they said, my wife would be pissed off. Woo-wee. Hey, but here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Either as a man, you acquiesce and capitulate, because you don't want to piss somebody off, or you standing for Yah. Just like Hamashiach said, if you don't hate, your mother, your father, your wife, your kids, even your own life, you can't be my disciple. Don't call yourself following me. A lot of men that watch this would their wives would watch it, be pissed off. But hey, their soul salvation is on the line. Their soul salvation is on the line. Fake the funk if you want to, talking about you submitted to leadership, and you got a man trying to wash you with the word, and you want to back talk him. You better hope you repent for that. You have to deal with that on Judgment Day. Hey, you get to Judgment Day, you got your makeup on, you got your fake nails, got your butt cheeks hanging out. You looking good in your mind. Most High Yah is spewing you out. Get out of here. You ain't meek. You ain't modest. And you sitting up thinking you about to just slide into the kingdom. Slide into the kingdom. Most High Yah ain't going to call you out. You got to get through Hamashiach first. Hey, bring me back to that point where, your life is over, but you told your husband he was a piece of crap because he was trying to save your soul. Take me back to where you was in your mind. Part ways for I never knew you. 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 11 through 15. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection, submission. Your husband trying to teach you something? Submit yourself. Be sitting up here trying to tell him what you know. Only thing you damn know is to rebel the same way Eve did. Shut up, Adam. We can eat the fruit. We can eat the fruit. I just talked to Hasatan. He said I could eat it. He said you could eat it. Eat a piece. Shut up and eat it. That's the only thing you're going to teach him. Sisters out here, let me tell you something. It's one thing to teach your child. Don't call yourself teaching no man. That's going to wind up bad for you every time. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor assert authority over a man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve, then Adam, and Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety. With sobriety. Wait a minute. Why we got so many women out here that want to be saved through career? Well, I'm just trying to get my career off the ground, and 40 years then go by. Now you can't bear no children. Now you just rebellious hell, and you didn't hit the wall. Notwithstanding, she shall be saved in childbearing. I will have that the younger women bear children, God. Younger women. Younger. And then what happens, because they don't want to submit to leadership, they will make a man that still got good seed in them testicles, take him a young wife. All of a sudden, he's a creep. Abraham was a creep. Moses was a creep. That's the way they're spin out. Why you want them young girls? Why? Because the Most High Yah, he tells us to plant a seed in fertile soil. But the rebelliousness in you, not wanting to submit to leadership, that soil ain't fertile. You got clay, baby. You got clay. Proverbs chapter 10, verse 8. The wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool shall fall. Man, if you submit yourself to righteous leadership, you're going to receive his commandments. You're going to obey him. You're going to submit yourself. But a prating fool shall fall. Proverbs 12, verse 15. The way of the fool is right in his own eyes. Man, it's anytime you're dealing with somebody that you discern does not have the spirit of truth, that they'd rather live a lie, they think they're a fool, and they think they're right in their own. They leaning with the opinion of the world, wondering why they struggling. It says, but he that hearken unto counsel is wise, going to seek advice. Hey, what you think about this? Going to the elders. Hey, you think that's a good man? You think that's a good woman? Or what you do? You sneak around and try to go lay up with them, and then surprise, we're married. Man, get toe up because you didn't get no counsel. Somebody could have discerned the spirit. Now I sense an unclean spirit on that man or on that woman. Hey, you don't need to be with them. They from another nation. They doggone serve other idols. That's the last thing we want to hear. We want to be like Solomon, loving many foreign women. And you didn't doggone planted seed and all these doggone women that love other idols and want to turn your heart against Yah. Just like them women did Solomon. Why? You didn't want to seek no counsel. You didn't want to submit yourself to leadership. Proverbs chapter 14, verse 16. A wise man feareth and depart from evil, but the fool rageth in his confidence. You mad because you doggone think you got the truth, and all you got is a lie. Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool, when he hold his peace, is counted as wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. Submitting to leadership. Man, you got somebody that has been walking in righteousness, for more than a day, and you ain't stepped foot in it once, you might want to submit yourself. You got people that's been in this thing, like you said, keeping the feast days for a year, keeping it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You ain't kept it once and think you know something. Think the Most High Yah has revealed his will. Hasatan talking to your ass. That's all that's happening. You have to sometimes shut up. That's so you can learn something. Bridle your tongue so you can learn something. Instead of trying to showboat the doggone lies of knowledge that you have and don't know how to build nothing righteously. Not a house, not a family. Pay attention. Submit yourself to leadership. Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding. Fool don't want to understand. Why? Because he wants to do as thou wilt. But that his heart may discover itself. You find out, hey, that heart is sick, desperately wicked, and you love it. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21 through 23. For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Hamashiach left us an example for us to follow his steps. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. Who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judges righteously. Man, a lot of times a man will tell his woman, hey, don't even worry about that. Let it go. Let it go. But that spirit in them will continue wanting to fight on. Oh, no, I got to get eat. I want to get right. Oh, I got to tell. Let it go. Let it go. Let the Most High Yah deal with that daughter of Zion and that foolishness. Oh, I got to. It'll just be burning up inside of them. And it says, who when was reviled not again. Let it go. People don't know that the people that was reviling after him had the opportunity to be saved through him, but they didn't want to submit to his leadership. John chapter 6, verse 38. For I came down from heaven not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me. People sit up and wrestle with this thing because they don't want to submit to leadership. But what's his name? Geno Jerkins, Jukin, Airboxing Jennings said, well, Jesus ain't never say nothing about no 10 commandments. Jesus ain't never mentioned this. Wait a minute. This tells us right here. Jesus didn't come down to, Hamashiach did not come down to do his own will. He was sent to do the will of the Father. Bam. Just like that. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. That's what a son don't want to do. A son don't want to go in there and bend over and get them loins, get them tender young loins chastened, chastised. They don't want that rod. They want you to believe that they precious. They don't need that training. They don't need that rebuke. Ultimately, it's a rebellious spirit in them, and that rebellious spirit does not want them submitted to leadership. John chapter 5, verse 19. Then answered Yahshua and said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, the Son can do nothing himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise. This is dealing with the Messiah telling you, man, I didn't come to make up nothing new. I didn't come to turn you against the Father, to turn you against the old covenant, to turn you against the law. I didn't come to do it. Matter of fact, what makes me the example you should follow, and the reason I knew no sin, is because I fulfilled the law. I didn't violate the law. That's why I'm not a sinner. I submitted myself to leadership of the Most High Yah. 2 John 9 through 11. Everyone who goes ahead and does not abide in the teachings of Hamashiach does not have Yah. Listen to this. Everyone who goes ahead and does not abide in the teachings of Hamashiach does not have Yah. These people saying, I got them, but do not abide, do not submit themselves, do not obey. Let them wrestle with it in their mind. Well, I don't think I have to. All right. You can do that all day till you get to judgment. Still going to have to deal with that. Whoever abides in the teaching has both the Father and the Son. If anyone comes to you and does not bring this teaching, do not receive him into your house or give him any greeting. For whoever greets him takes part in his wicked works. Lot of men and women be out here saying, man, I'm looking for a Christian woman or a Christian man. No, you're looking for somebody lawless. You're looking for somebody that profanes the Sabbath. You're looking for somebody that loves holidays instead of holy days, instead of feast days. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody that thinks that the law is done away with, therefore they can be lawless, but then turn around and tell you you should repent. Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and mother, that in thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord Yah give thee. Submit yourselves to your parents. When you're young, you don't know nothing. You don't know a damn thing. They here to guide you, to cover you, keep you in their good graces as long as you keep your hind part in the house. Don't go outside the perimeter that they tell you to go. Matter of fact, I don't want you to leave the edge of the driveway. That's how you stay in good graces. The heathen don't even teach grace right. Don't leave the perimeter of this driveway, this property line, and you'll be in my good graces. You'll have protection as long as you do what I tell you to do. Follow my instructions, be in my good graces, my perimeter of protection. But what happens? You violate that, don't want to submit to that leadership. You go way on down the street, come home crying, oh, mama, such and such hit me in my eye. Hey, I told you, don't go outside this house. I know the dangers out there. You don't. Can't be in nobody's good graces living lawless. Proverbs chapter 23, verse 22. Hearken unto thy father that begat thee, and despise not thy mother when she is old. Submitting to leadership. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 11 through 12. My son, despise not chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. Your flesh is not going to like that. When the Most High is dealing with you, your flesh is going to make every excuse, and it's going to fight like a doggone a flaming lesbian or a flaming gay man. It's finna, your flesh is finna fight like hell when the Most High Yah is dealing with you. I'm telling you. I'm talking about just haymakers to that flesh, bringing you down. You just crying out of nowhere. You did this word, it resonate with you to the point where it bring you in tears, because you know that you're going to lose your life if you don't submit to righteous leadership. You know the struggle is coming. People read this stuff about the judgment and all this stuff. They can try to avoid it, but when the Most High Yah chooses to deal with them, He gonna break them down. You can't go through this process without getting broken down, or else why would He need to renew your mind? Matter of fact, He said, I'm gonna make an excuse for you. Your mind is good. Your fleshly mind is good. We don't need to renew your mind. You can remain of the world. Keep doing everything that the world is doing. You know what? I'm gonna lie to you and call you set apart. It's not the way that works. For whom the Lord loveth, He correcteth, even as the Father the Son in whom He delighted. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 7. It is for discipline that you have to endure. Yah is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom the Father does not discipline? Man, you got to discipline your sons. Raise them up in righteousness. Raise them up in the word. Not just taking them to church, letting somebody brainwash them with replacement theology, supersessional. No, you need to be living the very same word, because you can't ask them to, you sit up there and give them a bad example of leadership and then think that they're supposed to grow up and just prosper in the world. No, the same tribulations, because of the life that you live as a father, they're going to go out and replicate the same thing because you ain't taught them nothing different. You tell your son, hey, don't never lie to me, I'm your father. But yet you lying to him about Santa Claus, the doggone tooth fairy, list goes on. Halloween and all of this nonsense. Some fat man some fat heathen Gentile coming down the damn chimney, and you know you didn't work 40 hours to go get them gifts. Don't lie to me, son. You know I'm your father. Tell me the truth. That's the reason they're going to grow up and be liars, grow up and be wicked. Because you a liar and wicked. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in discipline and instruction of the Lord. John chapter 14, verse 6. Yeshua said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father. You got to go through Messiah to get to the Father. No one comes to the Father except through me. But guess what? When you go through Messiah, don't come to Messiah talking about you did the will of the Messiah and you ignorantly don't even realize that Messiah was doing the will of the Father. You in trouble. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The same way you train your child up is the way that they're going. If you lived a wicked life and considered yourself, I'm a good parent, I'm a good father, I'm a good mother, and your kids is lawless, it's because you trained them that way. James chapter 1, verse 22. But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. People love to go on Sunday sun worship and hear a word. They don't want to, matter of fact, they don't want to hear the word that makes them repent. That's what they don't want to hear. They want to hear about the blessings. They want to hear all about that, but they're sowing a seed and getting it back tenfold, but they don't want to hear nothing about no obedience and submission. Why? Because that flesh, it'll have people walking out. Have people walking out. Acts chapter 2, verse 38. Then Peter said unto them, repent and be baptized, every one of you, in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, for the remission of sins, and you shall receive the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. What if these people did not submit to leadership? What the hell are you talking about, Peter? We ain't got to do that. We know what we talking about. Man, they wouldn't have been able to start this walk of righteousness. They wouldn't have had salvation if they wouldn't have submitted to leadership. Romans chapter 10, verse 17. So faith cometh by hearing the word, and by hearing the word of Yah. What you want to hear? You want to hear somebody tickle your ears. Got itching ears. You don't want to submit to leadership, so you find somebody that's teaching some falsehoods that justify your wickedness and appease your flesh, and you still struggling. Acts chapter 10, verse 44. While Peter yet spoke these words, the Ruach HaKodesh fell on all of them which heard the word. Peter wasn't tickling no ears. These apostles, these disciples were not tickling ears. The prophet Stephen was in there laying it on thick. Jokers want to live a lie. The prophet Stephen was laying it on thick. They in there gnashing his teeth. Who is this joker? To the point where they stoned him. He was giving them that truth, laying it on thick with the truth of Yah to the point that they killed him. The same way they killed Messiah. Messiah was trying to tell these folks the truth. When he was going into these places of worship, he was trying to convince them about their lawlessness in the life that they was living, trying to get them to understand, but they didn't want to. They didn't want to submit to leadership. And in one place, it says he didn't heal many there because of their unbelief. Who was they in there worshiping? Who was they in there submitted to? Proverbs chapter 28, verse 9. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. You say you submitted, but you don't want to hear the law. And the Most High Yah says your prayer is an abomination. Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 34 through 37. Stand in the multitude of elders and cleave unto him that is wise. Be willing to hear every godly discourse, and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. And if thou hast seen a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. That right there means you should be constantly going back to receive wisdom of the Most High Yah. Let thy mind be open. Let thy mind be upon the ordinances of the Lord, and meditate continually in his commandments. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desires. Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 15. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of the Lord. Why these Gentiles want to tell you, no, you don't need to mess with that. You don't need to mess with that. That's done away with. And then they say stuff like, can you keep all 600 plus laws? Heck no, I can't. But I can keep the ones that's for me. I can keep the ones for me. What you talking about? You got laws in there for Levites. You got laws in there for women. You got laws in there for men. You got, like, you can't make this stuff up. Are of the Lord. Love and the way of good works are from him. Ecclesiastes chapter 16, verse 24 through 25. My son, hearken unto me and learn knowledge and mark my words with thy heart. I will show forth doctrine and weight. This is why the word says that they neglect the weightier matters of the law. This is why in Christendom, they neglect the weightier matters of the law. It says, I will show forth doctrine in weight. People, when you start obeying and submit yourself to righteous leadership, people want to know, what Bible college did you go to? How you know that? Who taught you that? Hey, I learned from obeying. I learned from hearing the word from somebody that obeyed and submitted themselves to leadership. I will show forth doctrine and weight and declare his knowledge exactly. When you start obeying, man, the Most High Yah is he's going to excel your knowledge so far beyond these people that's under a strong delusion. Man, I've been a deacon for 30 years. You know, my daddy was a pastor. You know, my grandma was the first lady. Man, he's going to show forth doctrine and weight. They're not going to be able to understand it. Ecclesiastes chapter 19, verse 18 through 20. The fear of the Lord is the first step to being accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immorality. The fear of the Lord is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency, his greatness, his great power, performance of the law, performance of the Torah. Ecclesiastes chapter 21, verse 11 through 13. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof. That's why they ain't got no understanding, because they live lawless. They submitted to the Gentiles and the heathen. They still in Babylon. And the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. He that is not wise will not be taught, but there is wisdom from which multiply bitterness. The knowledge of the wise man shall abound like a flood, and his counsel is like a pure fountain of life. Many men and women will hear these painful words that will pierce their rebellious soul. Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 through 23. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name, and then in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity. Lawless. Man, I hope you guys got something out of this one, because like I said, I was going to lay it on thick. All praise to the Most High Yah for being able to enter into this rest, to be submitted to leadership, to be able to obey, to submit ourselves to this so that we can have doggone, eternal life. People hate this. They hate this kind of truth coming like this because they want to hear 1-2 scriptures on Sunday, sing some songs, listen to a Disney on Ice concert, and then think that they walking right. Strong delusion. Faith cometh by hearing the word. Man, I want to shout out the brothers and sisters in the comment section. Shabbat Shalom. We got Timothy Shropshire, Jamie Durant. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Hope this edified your soul. Maurice Delva, Brother Joshua, John Charlemagne. We got Stefan. Hey, appreciate you for tuning in. Check out some of my other content. Let's see who else we got. Jamie Durant, McCoy White. Hey, Shabbat Shalom. Man, strive to get some rest today. Not be partakers in what the rest of this world is doing. Separate yourself. Come out from among them. If you got some areas where you still detached, like this Thanksgiving right here, this is my first year of keeping all the feasts. And this year, we're entering Crit. Last year, I did the Feast of Dedication. We're about to hit Thanksgiving. Not doing that. Why? They're sacrificing that heavenly ham, as they call it. Profaning, and not dividing clean and unclean. Don't want no part in it. Not going to partake in it. So if you got things that you're coming out of, continue to come out. Continue to walk strong. Walk strong, stay hard. Don't let nobody remove you off of this path of righteousness with their worldly ways because they don't want to submit to leadership. They don't want to obey leadership. Glory to the Most High Yah. The day of judgment is near. Repent for your sins. The King is coming. Go in peace. Go in love. Shabbat Shalom. Closer to Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.